Asking Valkyrie out on date. This is true endgame. And if she does not rip head off, this is success. And if she say no, I go for her sister, Garuda. I fear no woman, but that thing, she scares me.
Now listen here, you crystallized garbage. Fashion frame is the real endgame.
At least I did not get suit out of trash can.
I'd rather find you in a trash can instead.
What are you trying to do? Pull rabbit out of hat or do stupid ballet in front of
Guys, did you hear? This is so awful. What do we do? The fat boy and skinny boy band is broken up. What do we do?
I'd prefer to have skinny boy to run with.
But fat boy was really good on guitar. What do you mean?
I prefer the skinny over fat.
I mean, he ate an entire car. What do you mean? Guy's a legend.
He ate an entire car?
Yes!
Pixar didn't happen.
You know those K drives that they have on Venus? He swallowed that whole. It was like nothing.
That is small. How about the coil drives?
Yes, he did a cool drive as well. While Skinny Boy just runs around like, hoo hoo hoo, time to run.
Alright, I'll believe you on your word for that. I need to see it for myself though.
She looks so beautiful under Martian sunlight.
Enough! I've had enough of this bickering and squabbling. How about we get down to some real news?
Is my love for perfect women joke to you?
That's not what I meant.
Please continue on with your news. I recently acquired photos that I must review in my room, alone.
I'll let you get to it. I'll just be over here admiring myself.
Oi.
I've got to go grieve over the loss of this beautiful band.
Alright, some real news. Let's start. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Warframe Digest. So, aside from my friends doing that, I don't know where to go with that, we do have some actual news. Devstream 130 just happened, and here's a bit of a recap, as we started off with my friend just kind of running in about the dynamic duo breaking up. Grendel and Gross will no longer be shipped together. Ooh. Grendel is still very far in development. He's kind of in a good point, but he still needs a lot of work. Goss is relatively done, and he will be shipping out with the main line at the end of the month. Hopefully at the end of the month. So they don't want to hold back Goss to release with Grendel when Goss can easily go out right now and keep people entertained and not bored with another content drop. So aside from that, we also have information on Nightwave. Nightwave Season 2 might have an extension, just kind of like Season 1 did, and they did say the ending will have a bit of a throwback for veteran players that understand the history and some other nuances of the DE team near the end of the season. And there will be an intermission season between Nightwave 2 and 3, and they are concepting an idea of having Nightwave 3 be less about the rewards and more about gameplay than anything else. It is a concept, we don't know exactly, it's not set in stone, but this is something they just kind of spitballed during the Devstream. They also showed off Equinox Deluxe, and EQ Deluxe is kind of like wishy-washy for me. It's not amazing, but it is a very nice skin. But the one that did blow me away is Ivara Deluxe, and Ivara looks gorgeous! And I actually want this skin, believe it or not. And here's the Artemis bow along with it. Pretty! And yeah, there's not much else to say there. They also did show off a new badge decal system for mastery ranks to show off your mastery ranks a little bit more. They also did very loosely touch about the Riven limit from 90 being raised to 120, unless you're Steve, and then you just end up making this comment.
Hopefully a ribbon cap increase.
Yes.
Yes, so
Yes,
going
ribbon
for,
cap
we're at
increase,
90 right now,
Yep.
but hoping to go to
9 million.
Yep.
take the cap right off.
And they also talked about the friends list being limited to 1,000 because anything over 1,000 has had some database issues and it just destroys people's games. And they also talked about Rivens. Rivens will kind of be roughly the same still, but the Sentinel Rivens will be plucked out of the drop table and will be put over in a corner with Cephalon Samaris. So it doesn't dilute the tables for people that really don't like them, and it's a lot easier for people that really want to get them somewhere more consistently. Gameplay real quick, but it's more about his weapons. His primary weapon, the Exceltra, is a very interesting little assault rifle that has a very long reload time. That is actually sped up whether or not Goss is sprinting. With him sprinting, it does speed it up, as you can see here, without, and then here with a sprint. So that's a little gimmicky thing that the weapon will have. And then we have the pistols, the Acarus, which is a pocket pistol that the bullets charge, prime, detonate, whatever words you want to use, after a certain distance and when they hit an enemy. So it is very interesting, and I got a feeling some people are going to kill themselves with this somehow. I'm looking at you, Shy. You always find a way. And again, Goss will be coming out with these weapons in the main line at the end of the month. But also keep in mind, with Goss being released, he will not be released in a quest or in a boss fight. He will be kind of out in the drop tables, and the drop tables he will be distributed amongst is the Disruption game mode. Disruption game modes are having a little bit of an expansion added to them, where they are being showed off here on Mars. And the enemies this time around are ghouls, which is going to be very interesting. These ghouls have a little bit of an augmentation to them. I wonder what kind. And they did loosely say that Lua will have some sort of specialized reward tables for them. Nothing concrete because they're being very elusive on this. But we also get disruption game modes on the Kuva Fortress. And this is more of a concrete information because they did confirm that we will be getting Kuva from the Kuva Fortress in the disruption game mode. So they did say that there will be 5 nodes and the drop tables will be based on the node locations to reflect player needs and area needs to fit a certain theme. So I really wonder what's going on with Lua. Has me very skeptical. Speculation times. Aside from that, they loosely did touch a couple of other things. Modular Arcwings will be getting their own arcane variants like the Zaws and the Kick Guns. Kuva Liches will not be changing the Kuva economy. It is more flavor text to explain the creation of these Liches. The Dojo will be getting an Infestant decoration set, which looks very interesting. They also showed off the finalized size of the Railjack dry dock, which is huge! And they did talk loosely about Railjack overall, and the more interesting bit was this little snip, kind of roughly going over the idea that some of the rewards will be RNG and they will be leveled, ranked at different levels. So basically you can get the same modifier or the same power-up at just different strengths. Instead of this repair being at 3, it can be at 2, or it can be a higher rarity at 4. And just hear for yourself real quick.
So no, the weapons are upgraded on kind of a linear tech tree using the resources you gain from playing the system, either playing with a friend or a randoms and being passively collecting those resources just for participating, or maybe on your own Railjack you're running missions. You'll invest those things to upgrade those weapons, as well as finding the technology for them and researching them and then building them and putting them in your ship. But the systems that you install here are things that you also discover. So we found Shadowfield during TennoCon. That was, sort of faux chance there. So they exist in various qualities throughout the Empyrean update throughout space.
Yep.
So you will find one that will have a better repair rate.
Right.
And potentially a stronger draw as a result. So there is a range. We're not talking about Riven randomization level where it's a complete scramble of madness, but we're also not talking about how Warframe mods work where you get something at base and you are ranking it up.
You won't get a Serration for this. Serration exists as a damage mod with a flat % increase.
Currently, what?
That's
like,
right.
Yeah, if you mouse over, like that one, right? So you'd see there might be a +4 one. You'd be very excited to find that.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Right. So
Find the loot, find the rewards.
And they also talked about Railjack being released in stages, and the first stage will be with Grenier. So it will be in a few Grineer-held locations with a few Grineer ships and ship variants and a couple Grineer outposts. So don't expect too much Corpus or anything else out there in your Railjacks to be kind of fighting us. And we'll end this on a very interesting note. They showed off some Grendel gameplay. Grendel seems very interesting, and the powers, ooh, these power names: Feast, Nourish, Regurgitate, and Meatball. And, that's one spicy meatball. Grendel's passive will actually be based on the amount of enemies he has consumed and he is withholding within his belly. The increased number of enemies in his belly, the increased number of armor he gains from that. And how do you get them in his belly? Well, with his first ability, Feast. These names are all placeholder, just keep in mind. And it will consume enemies and put them in his belly. And the more enemies in his belly, the more energy drains over time. You can spit them out, and you actually want to keep them in there regardless, because it will affect how his second, third, and fourth ability actually work. His second ability is Nourish, where he can consume the enemies for a buff, which can provide an AoE buff that increases armor, an AoE buff that will actually provide a toxin aura, or a buff that provides energy efficiency. So it will be interesting to kind of see how this all works out once it's out and in the hands of other Tenno. His third ability is Regurgitate, which is literally just spitting enemies out, and you spit them out like bullets. Currently in the death build, they have no physics, so you end up moments like this.
Sweet.
Oh.
Wait, can you launch them right up? Oh!
We need to put a little bit of drag on them. Currently, there's no drag, so you just launch them forever.
Guys, let's enjoy the fun for now. Oh my god, hold
That
on.
is a projectile vomit if I ever
Yeah,
saw
let's
it.
go.
Wow.
Let's do it. Let's send
Goodbye,
it to
guys.
space.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Okay. Too much fun.
That is amazing.
Do I have that right key? No, I don't. Hold on, I'm gonna do one more and then we'll.
Okay.
I won't get out of here. Sorry, having too much fun here. Go.
And his final ability, which is kind of a joke name, Meatball, I'm not sure if that's going to make it to the final build, is a physics-based ball that literally devours and consumes anything that comes within range. And it looks ridiculous. And it gets you moments like this. This has the potential of being very powerful and very interesting, and you can see that it does grow as he consumes more enemies, so you end up getting some really large size differentials from when it was casted being half the size of the Warframe and upwards to being the size of the Warframe, if not larger. And there currently is no limitation on how many people he can consume and how big he can get, but there will be a limiter based on how much energy he has, because as he consumes enemies, it will drain more energy. So they might put a ceiling on this, but right now it's all dev build, so it's kind of up in the air. And last but not least, they did show off the Shazin's actual official audio presentation, and it sounds very interesting. It's very lovely, and I can't wait to see how some creators get real creative with this, and how people can get together and actually make bands with this. It's going to be wonky as hell.
Play something now.
All right.
Oh, the little whammy.
The
too.
whammy.
Free bird.
Wow, this is like when you give a ukulele to a child for Christmas.
Would you like to play?
You just want to grab
Yes,
it. It
yes.
just, no.
Would you like to play,
That's
Steve?
fine.
Play a
That's fine.
song,
Let's have
Steve.
Steve. Let's have
But
Steve.
like,
play.
Steve.
So that pretty much does it for Digest 2, Episode 2 in Season 2. I don't know what I just said, but yeah. Tell me what you guys think. Did you like the little skit at the beginning? Sorry for the audio quality. I don't know why my recording device just completely butchered it, and I spent an hour recording with these guys and didn't realize that until the very end. Everything was fine beforehand. Hopefully we can do better next time. And what do you guys think of the overall update? What are you excited for? Are you upset that Grendel and Goss are being shipped separately? Are you excited to see more Grendel down the line? Are you excited to play with Goss at the end of the month? Are you upset with Goss being distributed the way he is going to be distributed? It's going to be an irritating farm. So, remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell to get notifications when my next digest goes live. And do you want to see Soviet Atlas and his romance with the luscious, beautiful, moonlit Marsian Princess Valkyria? I don't know where I was going with that.
Is my love for perfect women joke to you?
Just more shenanigans happen down the line, because I know that my Atlas friend was very excited and he had way too much fun and he wants to do more with that. Maybe I make it its own individual thing. Oh boy. And remember guys, take it easy, have fun, and see you guys in game. Ciao.